We're firm believers, and we tell people this all the time. If the money that you took, for even counseling, or if the money that you took for your hobby and invested it in your marriage first, you're going to be better off than having to spend $175 an hour on counseling. Because, like Jay said, that's $2,000. Well, gee, what could we do with $2,000? What are the places we could go?
You could get away 4 or 5 times a year, for a little getaway.
Plus, you get to laugh instead of cry.
Right.
And not years of going to counseling, then to get healed up of your broken heart.
Right.
This just makes sense to
Well,
me.
and what we find in our couples, I'll give you 2 stories really quickly. One is couples that have a good thing going. They say, you know what, it just reminded us how much we really do love each other, how much we really like being together. And then we had one story that took place a couple
After all, in the early days when the passion was there, you couldn't live without each other. You could not spend time not on the phone.
I know.
Let's get back to that place.
Yeah. Well, and one guy wrote us a letter. He had filed for divorce 6 weeks before our conference, but said out of respect to her family, because we were coming with her family, we went. He said, I got into the first session, and we start off with high energy music. I mean, just we're going after the men right away. He said, I looked at my wife and said, you didn't tell me what this was going to be. He said, by the end of that first song, I grabbed a hold of my wife's hand, and I haven't let go since.
Praise God.
And so those are the kind of stories that we're seeing on both ends of the spectrum, from we're on the verge of divorce to we're doing well, but we want to do better, and how this conference, because it is geared around encouragement and tools to build your marriage, really works.
Let's touch on that marriages are going well. They need this too.
Exactly. It's almost a maintenance plan. I mean, your car may be running really well, but if you don't do the oil change, put gas in it.
Right.
All the things that I don't do on my car, Jay does. But if you don't, so I can't even name out what
Put
they
a
are.
new muffler
but
on
if
it
you
once
don't
in a
keep
while.
it on that maintenance schedule, it's going to fall apart.
Yeah.
And so marriage needs a maintenance schedule. You need, whether everything's going great or not, you need to have those times away, even if it's just a date night once a week, or a lunch or coffee once a week, or every twice a year go to a Grand Hotel, or go to the Bahamas, or go to the mountains, or do something.
Or go to Findlay.
Yeah.
I don't care.
There's hotels in Findlay. There's hotels here in Lima. But get away from the everyday of what you're doing for 24 hours, and do that maintenance that your marriage needs.
Turn the cell phone off. Don't take a laptop.
Yep.
Turn your cell phone off. And
And what we hear all the time, especially from younger couples, and I'm going to talk to the younger couples here for a second, is, well, we've got kids, and we need to take care of, there's a lot of organization that needs to go into it, but the best thing that you can do for your children, by far, is to be madly and passionately in love with your spouse. And the only way to keep that happening is by investing in your spouse. And when your kids see you getting away, mom and dad are going just us, they're going to go, oh, why? And it gives you an opportunity to tell them, because this relationship is the most important thing for your life, so that we're modeling healthy marriage to you. And we tell young couples, yes, it's hard. Get grandma and grandpa, get a sitter, but it's worth the effort. It's worth the extra time it takes to make that happen for the long-term health of both your relationship and especially your kids.
And changing the legacy, so many of us have come from divorced families, and this marriage, being committed to staying married regardless of what goes on, then our kids see that, and then their marriages in 15 years, however old our kids are, we're going to change the statistics.
Right.
And we have to do that as Christians.
Exactly. The only place it's going to happen is in the church. That's the only place there's hope.
Right. Because Jesus is our hope.
That's right.
All right. A lot of information on the website. We highly just want to point you to that at celebrationnet.com. That is changing a little bit, changing some.
Hopefully it'll be really flashy in the next couple months.
Yeah, we're doing a website change, like everything right now. Everything's changing. We're doing a website change to jayandlaura.com. JayandLaura.
If you sing it to the Mickey Mouse tune, it works really well.
M-O-U-S.
That's right.
Okay. You have some books that you've published through the ages. Let's talk about them and where people
We have several
can get
marriage
them.
books. And our latest one is He Said, She Said, just released in January.
By Baker Publishing.
And He Said, She Said, 8 powerful phrases that will change your marriage. What we strengthen your marriage. What we discovered was doing surveys at our conferences and on Facebook and on Twitter and anywhere we could get some information from people. We surveyed over 1,000 married people and found that there are 4 phrases for the man and 4 phrases for a woman that they need to hear from their spouse. And they're very different, and probably very different than what we would think. They're not yes, dear, and yes, you're right, and any of those phrases. It's they're very different, and so it was very interesting and enlightening for us. And then as we've just been sharing it with our people in our conferences and our date nights, it's really we're like, wow, we really found something.
Can you share with some of those?
Sure.
Without letting the
She
whole...
needs to hear "I love you," which we go into the book. It's not "I love you" like, you know, blah 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 blah. I love you Valentine's Day, but there's different ways she needs to hear "I love you." She needs to hear "I respect you," which in Christianity right now is not necessarily a real popular thing. A woman needs respect just like a man does. Read Proverbs 31
Absolutely.
and tell me that's not a woman who needs respect. She needs to hear "I desire you," and that has to do with sexuality, which is very different for a woman than a man. And then finally, she needs to hear "I cherish you," and that is kind of the culmination of everything. Women want. A man's very simple, a woman's very complex, and a woman needs to have everything.
You got that right.
That's right. He needs to have everything right to feel cherished.
And what a man needs to hear is, I'm proud of you. I need blank from you, which is clear and concise communication. What we really communicate to our readers is that, and especially to women, our husbands are not mind readers. They don't get hints and innuendo, and what we need to be very specific about is using our words, be very specific with our communication. So I'm proud of you, I need blank from you, I want you, which deals with human sexuality, and then I believe in you, and I believe in you and I'm proud of you are very different. I'm proud of you deals with the past and the present, and I believe in you deals with where we're heading in the future.
Okay.
And those phrases really, we've gotten testimony, we've gotten emails. One guy said, Jay, I changed one phrase. I said, I'm going to focus on one phrase and really speak that to my wife. And it's as if I have a new wife on my hands, simply because she's hearing this from me. And not only hearing it, but she believes that I really mean it when I say it. We've counseled with countless men and women who said, you know, I tell my coworkers how great my spouse is. I tell but I never tell my spouse.
Yeah, yeah.
And as a result, this book is helping couples communicate in very practical, down-to-earth, real ways, because that's kind of who we are, ways to speak truth into your spouse's life so that they realize how much they mean to each other. We also, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, we
you have
also,
another book.
We threw one phrase in at the end. We got a number.
We do have another
number of books on our website.
know.
And go to the website for any of that. Yes.
But we threw one question in at the end of our survey, just kind of on a whim. It was, if you could change one thing about the opposite sex, what would it be? And we were overwhelmed at how much both sexes lined up. I mean,
Really?
like 96% of the women, 94% of the men answered essentially the exact same thing on what they would change about the opposite sex.
And what women said was that they would make men more aware, more observant about what's going on, mostly in the home and with kids or with her, you know.
That's
like,
a new outfit. I like your new haircut.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
You've
that
dropped a couple pounds, you know, those kind
That
of
kinda.
things. And men consistently wished women would stop complaining. It was like, wow.
We don't see it as complaining. We think we're just voicing our opinions.
Adding to conversation.
We're just making
Well,
observations.
you go out for lunch and this ranch dressing isn't as good as ours at home. Well, do you want me to fix it? You know, I mean, to a man, that's complaining and
Wow.
To us, it's just
observing.
It's just fat. It's not as good as the one at home.
But we're out for lunch, dear.
Can we talk about something else? Yeah. That's what I hear. Can we talk about something else?
Exactly.
Yeah.